Welcome, Rob Ainscough here. I'm going to go over Aerofly FS2 today. They have a new update, a major update, which includes a beta version of Vulkan implementation. Vulkan is a graphics API. It's similar to DirectX and OpenGL, but supposed to be geared towards higher performance graphics, and indeed it appears that the Vulkan API is very good, at least how it's implemented in Aerofly 2. So let's go ahead and get into doing some flying in Aerofly 2. There's not much to tweak. In fact, there's very little to tweak. First thing I do is I go to NVIDIA control panel here, and I make sure that my monitor's refresh rate is set to 60 Hertz and running 384 by 2160 resolution, which is 4K resolution. And the reason I want to change, normally I would run this at 30 Hertz if I'm running, say, XP11 or Prepared 3D. I set the refresh rate here to 60 Hertz because Aerofly 2 has no problem maintaining 60 FPS. In fact, most of the time it's somewhere between 90 and 120 FPS. So, with that said, let's continue. So there you go. Aerofly 2 is now loaded. I have an FPS counter down in the corner here. I'll go ahead and get into the settings here. Graphic settings, and I have VSync on, although I don't really understand why it's showing such a high frame rate. It should lock it to 60, but I don't know if it doesn't. Resolution is 3840 2160. The lens flare effect on, and this is the key item here, is the use experimental Vulkan renderer. That is set to Vulkan, and it's noted as a beta, so there are going to be a few glitches here and there. Anti-aliasing is high quality, anti-aliasing is on. So that's those graphic settings, and then there's graphics quality settings. As you can see here, I have everything ultra, 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 insane, ultra, ultra. Everything is maxed out. Let's go back. I'm going to go ahead and hit start here. I've already selected a location. I have Orbix airports installed. I have Lowy, Field, Keg, and Monterey, Carmel, Monterey, KMRY. We're going to start out at KMRY, and we'll progress to some other airports throughout this video. So let's just go ahead and start. Okay, so here we are. Very fast load time. This is in the Dash 8, the Q400. It's just inside the cockpit. And for those of you flying the Dash 8 and other flight simulators, I'm sure it looks very familiar. I don't want to say everything is implemented, because it's not, but a lot of things are implemented, and they do work well. So let's go ahead and take a look at my overhead here. Okay, lights are on. This probably should be on right now. Okay. And excuse me here, I'm getting a bit used to my, I'm using an Xbox controller for my view manipulation. So it's taking me a bit of a while to get used to it. And we can go to external view here. That's the view I wanted. Into the 5 key. And as you can see, this is Vulkan API, graphics API. it looks pretty good. Time of day here, I think I have set towards the evening. As you notice on the screen here, shadows are nice and crisp and clear. All these shadows, all those shadows. In fact, all the way out to the distance, car shadows. As you can see, it's very, the shadows are very clear and crisp. Let's go ahead and rotate around. And if you notice here, my lower left corner, that's my, my lower right corner, that's the frame rate counter. And we're at 101 frames right now. And there's Monterey Regional Airport. This should look familiar if you have this installed in Prepare 3D. There's a tower. I'm just kind of rotating around slowly now. And you can see it has reflections. You can see the reflections here. Not in the windows here, but I guess they just weren't coated yet. But the paint looks like it does have some reflections in it, or the aircraft has reflections in it. And but as you can see, it looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and let's do some flying. Let's get back in the aircraft here. All right. Let me see. There is no pushback available yet. So the best way to do pushback is actually just engage the reverse thrusters. Oops. Let me see. Parking brake is off. Okay. Alright. Reverse thrusters I've got mapped to a button, so let's just go ahead and press that. Reverse out of here. Let's proceed. Oh, I should say, before I do that, they do support a tiller. So as you can see, here is my steering tiller, which is mapped to a different joystick. Go. Ground range 1-2. As you can see, the interior shadows are very sharp, very clear, very crisp. All the aircraft shadows in the airport. People shadows are all very clear and crisp. As you notice, my frame rate is still around the 105, 111. Again, this is with everything maxed out. Okay, where are my flaps at? Oh, I got full flaps here. Don't want that. take off flaps 5. Go ahead and set this into flight mode. And let's go. See, pretty smooth frame rate. I am actually recording this at 4K 60 frames a second. Right now my frame rate counter has got me at 120. Gear up. Now I'm fairly familiar with the Monterey area, so I'm gonna go ahead and fly over my favorite location where I've raced before, which is the Laguna Seca racetrack. So let's go ahead and locate that. Should be off to the left here. Let's throttle back a bit. Oh, there it is. All right. So there we have Laguna Seca racetrack. I've raced there many times. It's a nice little facility. And there's the infamous corkscrew in the upper corner there. As you can see, the ground textures here are, they're not super high resolution, but they're pretty good and certainly enough to pass the photoreal quality test. There's Laguna, and this is the corkscrew, the infamous corkscrew right there. And these are the Monterey Hills, or mountains. Actually, they're hills. Monterey area, and there's the Monterey Airport, KMRY, that we just departed from. As you can see, I'm still at 122 frames per second here. Again, this is all max details. There's the airport. See the nice crisp clear shadows, even though we're fairly high up. There does appear to be a load radius on the shadows, but nonetheless it works well. And this is Carmel, or I should say this is Monterey downtown. It's a freeway. Now there is no active water yet, but Still looks pretty good, even though it's static. So if you're looking for waves, there you won't see any.
1000.
Here's golf course. I'm not sure if this is Pebble Beach. It might be, or it might just be another golf course. I don't think Pebble Beach is here. I think it's a little further up. Some power here. See, we're still at 108 frames per second. And maybe that was Pebble Beach. Let's get to an external view. External view, we're at 136 frames a second. Spin this round. And notice how when I spin round, there's no additional loading. Stays loaded. There's Laguna Seca. There's the Camera Airport. That's pretty impressive. You can spin around. My frame rate is actually at 200 and something. You spin around again, and there's the airport. No texture loading, unloading. It's quite nice. All right, so let's go ahead and go to a different airport.